And when you look at a block structure, this is an example of a block structure, and it shows we've got the version at the top, the previous block hash, the Merkle root timestamp, bits, nonce, and then a bunch of transactions. So there's a header basically saying that this is the number that corresponds to this particular block. There's a reference to the previous block and all of the transactions that are part of that block. So the blockchain is a distributed database containing the complete record of all the transactions starting with the very first block, the Genesis block, which was the first 50 Bitcoins that Satoshi Nakamoto mined and got this whole thing started. The blockchain resides on thousands of nodes throughout the world and ensures that everyone has a consistent view of the complete transaction history of Bitcoin. The shared ledger ensures that all Bitcoins are accounted for and prevents double spending. So every single transaction that has ever occurred with Bitcoin is recorded in the blockchain. You can trace any Bitcoin you have back to either its creation in a Coinbase transaction through mining or being transferred around from different parties. And if you go, I'm sure many of you have seen the website blockchain.info or .com. So you can see blocks being mined in real time there. And so over on the left, you've got the block height, which shows the number, what number we're on, the time that it took to mine that block, how many transactions are in it, which pool relayed that block. So the top one we've got there, it was mined in 1 minute. So essentially discus fished that pool, bundled up all the transactions that occurred after the previous block. That was 190. They solved the block, relayed it to the network, and it got validated and now is part of the blockchain. So what is mining? Mining is the process of spending computational power to construct valid blocks, generate proof of work, and submit to the network for inclusion in the blockchain. So the purpose of mining, and this is part of the genius of Bitcoin in general, the Bitcoin protocol was designed so that there would always be an economic incentive for miners to exist and contribute the massive computing power required to secure the Bitcoin network 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and ensure that transactions could be processed on demand. So if you think of the banking system, it's obviously we've got computers all over the world connected and able to facilitate any function that needs to happen to support the banking system. If you're going to have a currency, you've got to have the same type of infrastructure that's always on demand. And so by creating an incentive-based protocol, that's how the problem of making sure that there's enough computing power there to allow the Bitcoin network to function. And obviously the rewards is a big reason why miners are involved. So miners are rewarded in Bitcoins and transaction fees upon acceptance by the network of a submitted block. This is also how new Bitcoins are generated through mining. Approximately every 4 years, the reward is cut in half. So the current reward per block is 25 Bitcoins. When things first started, the reward was 50 Bitcoins per block. Current value is simply you take the 25 Bitcoins and multiply that times whatever fiat the exchange rate you want to look at. In dollars, the current reward is about $16,000 per block, $16,250 based on like today's exchange rate in US dollars.